Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Arm of the Father Normal. This is the third raid floor of Alexander, made available by patch 3.01 in Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. This guide should wash away any fears you have of the encounter and keep you positively charged throughout. My name is Mystek and I'll be your raid guide. The trash in this section is fairly easy to deal with. Players should avoid standing in scary electricity or nasty goop. Loop around the tower until you reach the boss, Living Liquid. You'll notice the obvious ring of electricity around the room, and a few of his abilities will try to get you stuck in it, so be on the lookout. The encounter begins with Sonic in his human form. Unless you're a tank, be sure to avoid his front. He will mark up 4 random players with these blue marks and cast Sluice. These players should spread to avoid slashing damage onto others. All players should also avoid getting hit by these narrow cones, or else they'll be knocked into the electricity and stunned. Healers should also be on the lookout for the raid-wide damage blast, which will happen throughout the encounter. Next phase, the Living Liquid will assume his hand form. In this phase, he has a pretty nasty cleave that can be shared between both tanks. He will also cast Wash Away, a massive knockback to players in random directions. To avoid getting punted into the electricity, I would recommend taking him directly in the middle of the platform during this phase. The hand will split and begin to apply stacking debuffs on the tanks with each cleave. The second tank can grab one ad and face it away. Eventually, Living Liquid will return to the center and go into Tornado phase. The area around the tornado is affected by a point-blank AoE that will put up Dropsy on anyone standing in it. Avoid this area. In this phase, the Liquid will spawn a number of ads that will slowly move to the outer area of the platform. Kill these as soon as possible. Pay special attention to the larger ads as they do have more health. During this phase, a random player will be tethered, indicating they are about to take a ridiculous amount of damage. Have the tanks intercept this tether and move away from anyone else to avoid splashing damage on the group. Another 2 players will be marked by one of 2 marks, a positive or a negative. If the players are marked with the same symbol, they will both be punted back after a short time. Thus, these 2 players should stack in close to the middle so they are not punted into the electricity. If the symbols are different, these 2 players will be sucked in towards each other. Spread away from each other to avoid extra debuffs and try to position yourself in such a way so as not to be pulled into the AoE puddle in the middle. Eventually, he will return to his human phase, and the mechanics will repeat through Hand and Tornado until around 35%, where he begins the final phase. In this phase, there are 3 large AoE puddles around the room. Be careful not to step in these when dealing with other mechanics. This phase is essentially a combo of all the other phases. You'll have AoEs to dodge, symbols to stack in or spread from, and the tanks have to deal with a swap. Each cleave will now place a stacking debuff on anyone it hits, and a well-geared tank can take anywhere from 4 to 6 hits before a swap is necessary. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is destroyed. If you have any questions or comments or need a hand with any of the mechanics, please let me know. Up next, we'll look at the last floor of Alexander available. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.